Good morning, all. Good morning. We set aside this time for brief announcements that will be of interest to our community and friends. Please be succinct when announcing upcoming events or updates. If you have an announcement, please line up on the ramp or aisle here. Raise your Zoom hand. When Andy or I call on you, come up to the podium and unmute yourself, then speak. Go ahead.
Just a quick just a quick reminder, we are having our covenant meeting at 12 o'clock today. So when we finish, we're going to probably set the room up, and then we'll have lunch about 11:30. So those of you who wanted to go home and get food and bring it back, that will be fine. And then we're here to share and learn more about one another. And you're all invited, and I hope you all come. Thank you.
Next Sunday afternoon, the Green Space Speaker Series continues with David Helvarg talking about the forest of the sea, kelp. And he has a new book that he'll be signing before that at the Salty Pages bookstore on Main Street, starting at 1. His talk is at 4, and I would suggest reserving seats through Green Space because we expect it will be a full house.
Okay, the last Saturday of August, we're doing a potluck at Stuart Burton's home. It's outdoors, an outdoor potluck. There are 8 tables and chairs for all. And we need a couple of helpers to set up and a couple of helpers to clean up. So I hope we'll get some volunteers between now and then. You'll know what your schedules are. So the date again is the 27th, is it?
29th.
29th, okay, of August.
And that's for potluck.
Any announcements in Zoom land, Andy?
No, there aren't.
Thank you. Next week, PJ Webb will present It Really Happened, a monumental historic milestone for Indigenous leadership and ocean conservation. Let us take a moment to still our hearts, quiet our minds, and center ourselves. A Zen master named Gasan asked a young student to bring him a pail of water to cool his bath. The student brought the water, and after cooling the bath, threw on the ground the little that was left. "You dunce," the master scolded him. "Why didn't you give the rest of the water to the plants? What right have you to waste even a drop of water in the temple?" The young student attained Zen in that instant. He changed his name to Tekisui, which means a drop of water. Kat will light the chalice here in the sanctuary. Those of you at home are invited to light your own chalice now. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope as a sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we live together. Before we sing the first hymn, let me remind our remote participants to leave yourselves muted. However, we want you and whoever is with you to sing with us as big and loud as you like. Make it a joyous experience. Please stand in body or spirit and sing the opening hymn, All Are Called, by Kimberly DeBuse and Kia Hartwood.
Knit strong by compassion, all are called to this day. Some are called to speak as prophets, some prepare a holy space, others still will know their calling through the lives that they embrace. All are called to this moment. All are called in many ways. Hearts knit strong by compassion. All are called to this day. Some are called to life's creative, some to make discoveries, some promote a transformation that affirms our dignity. All are called to this moment. All are called in many ways. Hearts knit strong by compassion. All are called to this day. Some are called to listen closely, witness stories not their own. Some are called to lift their voices, showing no one is alone. All are called to this moment. All are called in many ways. Hearts knit strong by compassion. All are called to this day. Some are called to venture boldly, answer love's most earnestly. When we weave our lives together, stronger still, one call will be. All are called to this moment. All are called in many ways. Hearts knit strong by compassion. All are called to this day.
Good morning. Well, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist community of Cambria. We're glad you have joined us today. Our UUCC sanctuary sits on land that indigenous peoples, primarily the Selenian tribe, historically inhabited. We honor their ongoing contribution to this region and give thanks for the opportunity to gather in faith on their unceded territory. Let us respect their legacy and protect their history as we occupy this sacred space. As Unitarian Universalists, we celebrate religious diversity and welcome all who journey in search of faith and spirituality. The UUCC is a lay-led congregation run by the democratic process. We invite speakers from different religious traditions and spiritual or scientific backgrounds, as well as community leaders, to speak at our pulpit. We encourage presentations covering a variety of topics and areas of interest that connect with the UU7 principles and 6 values: equity, transformation, pluralism, generosity, justice, and interdependence, with love at the center. Today's service centers around the transformation. We adapt to the changing world. My name is Ted Key, and I am your worship associate for this morning's service. We extend a special welcome to today's guests and visitors. We're glad you joined us this morning. If you wish, please introduce yourself or your guest.
Good morning, everybody. I am introducing my sister Joan, who is visiting us from Colorado.
Okay. If you are not on the mailing list, please visit the UUCC website at uuccambria.org so that we can keep you informed about all of our activities. Members and friends, please check out the UUCC newsletter sent to you every week. This is a great way to keep up to date with our latest news. To see this, or any of the past Zoom services, the recordings can be found on the UUCC website. So again, good morning and welcome to everyone. The affirmation is both a recognition of the nature of this community as well as a promise to which we aspire. Let us now recite the UUCC affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help one another. Donn has a brief report to share. Donn?
In June, the weekend of June 14th and again the 21st, were the weekends of the General Assembly, the UU General Assembly, which was a hybrid assembly, but it was largely online. And both myself and Dolores Miera acted as delegates from this congregation to that. And so this is just a very brief report about, I'm going to tell you about the business section, which was the first weekend, and Dolores will tell you about the non-business part of the. So just one remark, I highly recommend that if you have an opportunity in the future to attend one of these, either online or in person, one of these assemblies, it's extremely interesting. We live here in a rather bit of a bubble, and the congregation looks all about the same. We're all about the same age and about the same color generally, same hair and all that, but, or lack of, sorry. That's what I forgot. Yes, it's not there, is it? So, but here's what struck me as so interesting. This denomination is amazingly diverse, way different than it was back in 1960. That's when I graduated high school. I was a member of the LRY at that time. You would not recognize it. If someone just, Rip Van Winkle coming, 60, 20, 30, 40 years later, this denomination has really changed, and for the better. It's gotten more diverse, and it's just generally, anyway, it was really a revelation coming from here to see all of that, so I highly recommend that. So to start, let's, if I may have the first slide. One thing that struck me very strongly is that this denomination pays great attention to procedures, doing things in a very clear procedural fashion. And I recall this even as a teenager back in the ancient days with the LRY when we did our conferences. We were all into procedures, and so was the congregation. So this attention to detail and to procedures so that everyone can be heard, so that discussions are fair, and that everybody is included, They've done a really good job. So the first thing that they do is adopt the rules of procedure that the assembly is going to follow. So that was the first item. And may we have the next slide, please? There was a business resolution and a bylaw amendment, which you'll see in a moment, which had to do with settling new ministers, or when ministers leave a congregation and go somewhere else. They did adopt the resolution to have the Ministerial Fellowship Committee, MFC, to do a task force to review their policies, because there are some issues when when a minister moves from one congregation to another, and the whole process of, again, very interesting because we're a lay-led congregation, so we don't see that, but there's a huge amount of effort in terms of supplying congregation with ministers and dealing with the problems that may result. There's a whole special in April, ministers start resettling in different places. It's extremely interesting for someone such as I, who's just a layperson. So we had this resolution, and then this one, which we said they did not adopt the bylaw amendment because there was a task force which is going in and revising the bylaws. And it has to do, again, with this business of when a minister gets suspended, if there are some issues, or as a minister has been settled or is about to be settled in a congregation. So they decided not to adopt the bylaw amendment. May we have the next slide, please? Okay, so the two that we went before were the bylaw amendment and then a business resolution, which was directing, again, looking at this process of settling ministers. Again, not something that we're generally concerned about. Now when we come to these actions of immediate witness, those are things that the denomination feels it's sufficiently important that we have to take a stand, and the idea is immediate. In other words, we don't just sit around and discuss it, we need to go out and do something. And this one was the environmental protections, which no one has any argument about. But may we have the next slide? However, this is very interesting because this had to do, let me check that here, okay. There is a detention center in Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey, where the detainees, they're immigrants who are being ready to be deported or were on a hunger strike. And there was a movement from the denomination to take an immediate action about this, and for congregations to go and take people and go and support this effort to and to go to Delaney Hall and join the UUs that were already there to support them. But as it turns out, the people who, and this is very interesting, the people who were supposedly going to be benefited by that, the UUs in Newark, New Jersey, they stood up and they said, please do not come. We do not want untrained people, because this is a nonviolent confrontation, and you have to be trained for that. So they didn't want busloads of UUs descending upon that protest. So it failed. But interestingly, may we move forward, please, Andy? Later on, there was I'm going to jump ahead of myself. However, the same group that were sponsoring that AIW, they actually said, gosh, we didn't realize that this would cause a problem. So what they did is they turned around and created what was called a responsive resolution, which is the assembly instructing the UUA board that this is a feeling that we have. It's not a non-binding resolution, but it was a resolution affirming the association's commitment to relationally grounded organizing and solidarity work. In other words, our commitment to immigrant justice and relationality. You'll see that later on. What was interesting, though, is you've heard the saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And this is a case where good intentions, had they followed through, could have caused great problems. So it's very interesting to me the way it was handled at the GA. So the people who originally supported the AIW came back and said, we didn't understand, we're so sorry, let's do this resolution instead. So this is kind of an interesting thing. May we have the next slide, please? Yeah. So this is the responsive resolution, which is just the sense of the assembly. And there were two of these related to the youth. In this case, to provide resources to recruit and train youth. And then the next slide, please. And expressions of gratitude for support of the youth. Now, this was interesting too. There were not a lot of youth. By that I mean people probably under 25. To me, youth is 40. But under 25. What struck me again, and part of the reason I just wanted to mention this, is the youth that did appear, some of them spoke actually against these two resolutions. Two things. One, they were incredibly well-spoken. The human being's brain seems to develop a lot sooner than I thought. Because these people, how old are they? You kind of wonder. They're very insightful and very well-spoken. But there weren't very many of them. And the one thing, and this is why, they spoke against these two things, because they felt it wasn't sufficient. They wanted more resources, more actual action to support their own youthful endeavors. The last resolution, if I may, one last. Where are we here? This one. This one was put in at the last minute, and this is, again, non-binding, but it's asking, there's a commission on appraisal, and I cannot tell you what that is because nobody explained it to me, but it include issues about people from Southeast Asia and North Africa. So just a statement of that. And I believe that was the last, yes. So that was the actions of the business things. And again, I just want to emphasize how well and how it makes me really proud of our denomination that we were able to put together a procedure and that was fair and reasonable and brought everybody forward. The last thing I'll say about that is they even had a special group appointed to observe the whole process and critique it afterwards. Again, so we're always looking, how can we do better? I was just very impressed. So this is the commercial for next year's GA, which is, I believe, in San Jose. So now, I've spoken way too long. Dolores can give you a better flavor, I think, of the non-business.
But it wasn't non-business drinking or any of that, okay. It was called Meet the Moment. So there was 3 days of all that business, then there was 2 days of a break, which that was new, and then 2 days of the Meet the Moment program, it was called. And it was a shared program of large collective sessions introducing this framework. And the focus was on how UU communities respond to present-day cultural, political, and institutional change. And I've never heard the word wave cohorts. Has anybody heard that before? Okay, well, that's popular now. Okay, and we split into these cohorts of main deliberative learning groups, and they're organized around themes, identities, or ministry contexts, and designed for shared analysis and action planning. So we got to, it's all about strengthening cross-congregational learning and identify collective action strategies across the UU network. Then, and so just real short here. I was in the small group cohort. I typically join those classes that talk about small congregations. I'm always drawn to that, right? And we are about the average. They average from like 25 people in a congregation to about 75 in these small cohorts. But I'm glad to report we shine in what we do, okay? Because, when I was talking and we're all in there discussing things together, we're amazing. I mean, we've got the music, we've got the worship committee going. I mean, I was just so impressed, right? And other people were going like, oh, okay. And there was One thing I just want to point out, and it's, and because we do those these Sunday services, the weekly meetings, and our monthly meetings, congregational meetings like we're going to have today, and we're crushing it. I just have to say that, right? We are crushing it. And one thing that they brought up that I thought, well, this is kind of interesting, is if we can get our AV team, or just technologically people that could help get Zoom on our phones, right? So that, so that everybody can see Zoom on their phone somehow. And because someone brought that up, and I thought, well, that's a good idea, right? So that those that can't hook into their computers at home, they could do that on Zoom when they're traveling, or they're, not able to get to their computer. It was a wonderful session. Donn did a great wrap-up of it, and all the businessy, thank you for doing that. And I do recommend everybody goes to at least one GA in their lifetime. Okay, and, okay.
Now is the time for sharing your heartfelt joys and concerns with this, your spiritual community. The collective flames of these candles embody all the joys and concerns which may have gone unspoken today, but are also deeply felt in this community. The first reading is adapted from Out of the Ordinary, Meditations by Gordon B. McKeeman. A drop in the bucket. What it says about inadequacy, futility, insignificance. A drop in the bucket. What's the sense? What's the use? Just suppose that we are the merest drops in a bucket. There are unspoken assumptions here. We assume that a full bucket is what we're aiming at, and that until the bucket is full, nothing has been accomplished. There is never a shortage of buckets. The empty bucket litany is long and tedious. Racism, sexism, ableism, authoritarianism, oppression, injustice, violence, environmental degradation, overpopulation. You feel like a drop in the bucket. Who asked you to fill the bucket, especially all alone? Remember how many there are who share your concern. We may feel daunted, but we are not one drop. A sense of isolation is the parent of the drop in the bucket feeling. It might even be wise to remember why you need to help fill this bucket. Possibly to quench the thirst of someone hard at work on a larger one, that buckets of whatever size are filled drop at a time. If you don't help, it will take even longer. That your drop may be one of the last ones needed. Why is it that our image is of the first drop in the bucket? Where we'd be if everybody gave up putting drops in the bucket? Probably much worse off. After all, the Grand Canyon was fashioned by drops of water, as ordinary as they seem. Let us join in a time of meditation, of prayer, and of silence. Let us seek the quiet and the calm, laying aside our struggles. And in the silence, may there be a reverence in our hearts, a thankfulness within our spirit, and a deepened understanding of the meaning of our lives. Let us enter the stillness. Quiet your active mind. Soothe your troubled heart. Connect with your incorporeal soul. Ignite your dormant spirit. Reach beyond your essence to find your inner peace. The second reading is an excerpt titled "The Cathedral of the World" from A Chosen Faith by Forest Church. Imagine awakening one morning from a deep and dreamless sleep to find yourself in the nave of a vast cathedral. It is a world of light and dancing shadow, stone and glass, life and death. Look about you, contemplate the mystery, and contemplate with awe. This cathedral is as ancient as humankind, its cornerstone, the first altar, marked with the tincture of blood and stained with tears. Search for a lifetime, which is all you are surely given, and you shall never know its limits, visit all its apses, worship at its myriad shrines, nor span the celestial ceiling with your gaze. The builders have worked from time immemorial, destroying and creating, confounding and perfecting, tearing down and raising up arches in this cathedral, buttresses and chapels, organs and theaters, chancels and transepts, gargoyles, idols, and icons. Not a moment passes without work begun that shall not be finished in the lifetime of the architects who planned it, the patrons who paid for it, the builders who constructed, of the expectant worshipers. And not a moment passes without the dreams of long-dead dreamers being outstripped, shattered, or abandoned, given way to new visions, each immortal in reach, ephemeral in grasp. Welcome to the Cathedral of the World. Above all else, contemplate the windows. In the Cathedral of the World, there are windows without number, some long forgotten, covered with many patinas of dust, others revered by millions, the most sacred of shrines. Each in its own way is beautiful. Some are abstract, others representational, some dark and meditative, others bright and dazzling. Each tells a story about the creation of the world, the meaning of history, the purpose of life, the nature of humankind, the mystery of death. The windows of the cathedral are where the light shines in. Please stand in body or spirit and sing Nothing More by the alternate roots.
To be humble, to be kind, it is a giving of a peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend, to give in such a way that has no end. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day's done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other and nothing more. To be bold, to be brave, it is the thinking that the heart can still be saved, and the darkness can come quick. The dangers in the anger and in the hanging on to it. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day's done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other and nothing more. Tell me what it is that you see. A world that's full of endless possibilities. And heroes don't look like they used to. They look like you do. We are love, we are one. We are how we treat each other when the day's done. We are peace, we are war. We are how we treat each other and nothing more. We are how we treat each other and nothing more. We are how we treat each other.
Today's talk is titled Do What You Can by Peter Friedrichs, to be delivered by Donn Howell. We know Donn well as our friend and UUCC president. He will introduce the author of his message this morning. Donn?
All right. While searching for material for our services, Randy Schwalbe found a sermon in the treasure trove of published sermons that the UUA maintains on its website, and he showed it to me. That sermon, Be Who You Are, the third in a series by Reverend Peter Friedrichs, so spoke to me and had such relevance to my own life that I wanted to share it with you all, which I did this last January. Now, halfway through the year, I present to you the second of Friedrichs' 3 sermons, Do What You Can, an appropriate subject in view of these interesting, troublous times. But let's start with some background information. First, let me tell you a little about Peter Friedrichs. He is a UU pastor who retired in 2022 after serving 16 years as lead minister of the UU Church of Delaware County in Media, Pennsylvania. This sermon, Do What You Can, that I am presenting to you today, was written sometime in 2010 and published in 2015. After retirement, Friedrichs relocated to Keene, New Hampshire, where he lives with his wife of 42 years. Currently, he is a member of the board of the New Hampshire Alliance for End-of-Life Options. He is an ardent advocate for the rights of all people diagnosed with a terminal condition to make their own decisions about when to end their lives. Now, Do What You Can is the second of 3 sermons that Reverend Friedrichs delivered honoring Reverend Forrest Church. Reverend Church passed away in 2009, some 15 years ago this September. Enough time has passed that some of you may not be familiar with his work, so let me fill out the picture of Forrest Church with a very short biography. Forrest Church was born in Palo Alto, California in 1948, while his father, Frank Church, was a student at Stanford Law School. Following his father's graduation in 1950, the family returned to Boise, Idaho, and Frank Church was elected to the United States Senate in 1956 and served 4 terms until January of 1981. And may I say, he was one of my favorite senators. Frank's son, Forrest Church, was a graduate of Stanford University and Harvard Divinity School. He received a PhD in early church history from Harvard University in 1978. He served for almost 3 decades as senior minister and was also minister of public theology at All Souls Unitarian Church in New York City. Between 1985 and his death in 2009, he wrote or edited 25 books. These include technical studies of Christian and Gnostic literature, as well as over a dozen books addressing a wider audience. The second reading this morning, which is one of my favorites, is Forest Church's extended metaphor of the world as a cathedral with many varied windows. Now, during his sermon, Friedrichs refers us to the words and ideas of Gordon B. McKeeman, author of our first reading, A Drop in the Bucket. Reverend McKeeman was born in 1920 and passed away in 2013. He served as minister of several Universalist churches in New England, and in 1961 was called to a large, dynamic congregation in Akron, Ohio. And then, from 1983 until his retirement in 1988, he served as president of the Star King School for the Ministry. McKeeman said that he always hoped some other job than minister might leap off the want ad pages in the Sunday newspaper. But he never found anything else that he was qualified for. So now the sermon. And now do what you can, a sermon by Reverend Peter Friedrichs. And lest this cause a little confusion, remember this is the second in a series, and so Friedrichs, it refers to something that he said last week, and he means the last time he presented the previous sermon, so I just don't want to confuse you about that. So he's saying, today is the second of our three-part sermon series dedicated to Reverend Forest Church. As I noted last week, Church spent nearly 30 years as the senior minister of All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church in New York City. He was a public theologian who authored 20 books in his lifetime and was a frequent commentator in the public media. After being diagnosed with cancer of the esophagus, he sat down to write what he thought would be his last book, and the result was Love and Death, My Journey Through the Valley of the Shadow. Forest Church succumbed to his disease last September, shortly before publication of his final work entitled The Cathedral of the World, a Universalist Theology. 10 years earlier, Church acknowledged that he was addicted to alcohol and he joined AA. As part of his recovery, he developed a mantra that he said served him well for the remaining years of his life. It consists of 3 statements. Want what you have, do what you can, and be who you are. Last week, we examined the statement, want what you have. This week, I would like to offer you my reflections on do what you can. Do what you can. This part of Church's mantra, he tells us, focuses our mind on what is possible, no more, no less, thereby filling each moment with conscious, practicable endeavor. In this simple statement, Church is at once acknowledging that we have power and control over our destiny, while he is also acquiescing to the limitations and boundaries that we experience as human beings. He is orienting us towards the feasible and the achievable, knowing full well as individuals we are limited in our reach and our scope. In one of the closing chapters of Love and Death, Church bemoans how much wasted energy we spend trying to do what we can't, how often we fail to optimize our efforts and thereby achieve the significant goals that do lie within our power. He goes on to tell us, when we quit trying because we fail to achieve our pipe dreams, we overlook all we actually could accomplish by putting our shoulders squarely to the right wheel. When Church instructs us to do what you can, he is calling us to let go of dreams of grandiosity and to focus on the meaningful accomplishments we can achieve within the context of our everyday lives. This statement is reminiscent of the reading found in our hymnal written by Unitarian minister Edward Everett Hale more than a century ago. He said, I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. While I was reflecting on the simple statement, do what you can, my mind went back to the spring of 1989. The once monolithic Soviet bloc had begun to disintegrate, and the Berlin Wall had begun to crumble. Students and other pro-democracy forces in China seized what they perceived to be an opportunity to pressure their government to loosen its iron grip on its people. And the protesters flooded the streets of the capital, Beijing. The Chinese government, as you may recall, acted swiftly and violently to crush the peaceful protests. And hundreds, perhaps thousands, were killed. If you're like me, there is one image from the Tiananmen Square protests that is burned indelibly into your mind. One of the few images that survives from that time and place. It is the image of Tank Man. We call him Tank Man because his identity has never been known, at least to the Western world. In the video that was smuggled out of the country, we see a column of Chinese tanks rumbling down a street in central Beijing, and we see a lone man carrying what appear to be shopping bags step off the sidewalk and into the path of the oncoming tanks. Instead of mowing him down as they easily could, the column comes to an abrupt halt in front of him. Tank Man stands stock still in front of the lead tank, and the tank sits there idling. Then the lead tank tries to maneuver around the man. Each time it does, Tank Man moves sideways to block the tank's progress. Finally, the tank driver gives up, shuts down his engine. The two are at a standoff. This is the iconic image, a lone man standing up for human rights, staring down the barrel of the tank's gun, holding it at bay. Eventually, members of the secret police arrived and removed the tank man from the scene, and the tanks proceeded on their mission of death and destruction. But Tank Man left his mark. We know, of course, that Tank Man did not bring down the Communist Party apparatus. We know that the Chinese government suppressed the student protests with overwhelming force and violence. We also know that China remains one of the most oppressive countries on the face of the planet, severely limiting many of the freedoms that we here take for granted. And while we don't know for sure, we suspect that Tank Man paid for his actions with his life. I have no idea what triggered Tank Man to step off the curb and to stand his ground that day. But in one stark and startling moment, he did what he could. And for a few brief moments, it seems, one man had stopped the oppressive Chinese regime in its tracks. Last week, I mentioned the Marianne Williamson quote that has over the years been attributed to Nelson Mandela. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Now, this statement is highly inspirational, and I think it speaks the truth. But it is not entirely true. It is, in some ways, a statement more about the limits of our imagination and our self-perceptions than it is a statement about the extent of our power. The truth is that most of us are not like Tank Man. The truth is that the effort that most of us make is going to be of the drop in the bucket kind. But as you heard in today's reading, that drop might just really matter. Gordon McKeeman warns us against the unspoken assumptions that of the drop in the bucket mentality. Excuse me. We assume that a full bucket is what we're aiming for, and that until the bucket is full, nothing has been accomplished. And I love that question that hits us right between the eyes. Why is it that our image is of the first drop in the bucket? The implication is that our drop may be the last drop, the one more drop that actually fills the bucket. In his book, The Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell talks about how little things can make a big difference. Using viruses as a model for explaining social change, he tells us that a small change in behavior can alter the course of society. He writes that we are, as humans, heavily socialized to make a kind of rough approximation between cause and effect. Viruses and epidemics, both medical and social, don't work that way. In fact, he goes on, oftentimes the effect of a seemingly small cause can be huge. To appreciate the power of epidemics, he writes, we have to abandon the expectation of proportionality. We need to prepare ourselves for the possibility that sometimes big changes follow from small events, and that sometimes these changes can happen very quickly. He encourages us to consider how we might start our own positive social epidemics. Now, this tipping point theory is dramatically demonstrated by the story of the 100th monkey. While not verified scientifically, the story is at least illuminating as a parable. Back in the 1950s, oh, thank you. Sorry about that. Couldn't figure a good way to do that. Okay, back in the 1950s, scientists were studying the behavior of a certain type of monkey on an isolated island in Japan. They noticed that most monkeys would eat the staple of their diet, sweet potatoes, fresh out of the ground. But then they observed that one monkey took a sweet potato down to the nearby shore and washed it in the water. Other monkeys on the island, watching this behavior, soon began to copy it. More and more monkeys began to wash their meals before eating them. And then something amazing happened. As we're told, once a critical mass of monkeys on this island was washing its sweet potatoes, the so-called 100th monkey, the same behavior began to occur in monkey populations on other nearby islands, unconnected to the first colony. When a tipping point was reached, there somehow was communicated to other monkey colonies the message, wash your sweet potatoes. And they did that without Facebook or email. The point of all this is to say that by doing what we can, we are doing one thing for certain and possibly another. First and for certain, we are having a local and immediate impact, whether it is making sure that the homeless family has a roof over its head and meals to eat when we volunteer for the Interfaith Hospitality Network, or it is writing a letter to our representative in Harrisburg to advocate for reasonable gun control measures. Those actions have immediate effects and consequences. Secondly, and perhaps less certainly, when we do what we can, we are adding our drop to a bucket that may be nearly full, that may be balanced on its edge and near the tipping point. We may be that 100th monkey whose action sparks the epidemic of social change. With all that being said, I ask you to notice that Church's phrase, do what you can, has a Buddhist ring to it. It does not concern itself with consequences, and it asks us to release ourselves from attachment to outcomes. Do what you can, a simple imperative to act within the scope of our ability. Don't worry about the impact. That will take care of itself. While Forrest was eminently practical in his approach to life, he accepted that life is ultimately a profound mystery and that the impact of our lives cannot be known. In their work, How Can I Help?, Ram Dass and Paul Gorman tell us that service is ultimately a journey into the unknown. If we obsess over the effect of our actions, whether we're the first monkey or the 100th, the last drop in the bucket or the first, we may, because of the apparent futility, choose simply never to act at all. Dass and Gorman tell us that we have a choice to make. We can either be frustrated and worn out by uncertainty and doubt, they write, or we can try to find a way to open to the ambiguity, embrace it, work with it, be moved and inspired by it, and thereby come closer to the very heart of service where true freedom is found. This letting go of outcomes is embedded in Forrest Church's simple statement, and it rings true to the statement of Jesus when, after telling the parable of the Good Samaritan, he instructed the lawyer to simply go and do likewise. Ram Dass says we give it all we have and trust the rest to God, to nature, to the universe. We do everything we can to relieve someone's suffering, but we are willing to surrender attachment to how we want things to be. On that bright blue day in June of 1989, In a stunning act of courage, the tank man did what he could. He stood. He simply stood. He stood in front of a column of tanks, preventing their passage, at least for a time. I doubt he thought he was going to bring the Chinese government to its knees. I doubt even that he thought the tanks were going to stop. But he did what he could do. He stood for freedom. He stood for justice. He stood for the oppressed people of his country. Let the image of this one courageous soul stand as an inspiration to the rest of us as we heed Forest Church's call to do what you can. Go and do likewise. Amen and blessed be.
Thank you, Donn. I guess I feel like a drop of water. The morning offering will now be given and received. Please remember we are a self-sustaining congregation and provide all financial resources for our many ministries. We recognize the spiritual value of generosity and invite you to participate. If you are viewing this service remotely, please use one of the methods shown on the screen. Thank you. Please stand in body or spirit and sing the closing hymn, Only One, by John Spruill and Sheila White.
I am only one, but still I am one. I will not refuse to do what I can. I am only one, but still I am one. Cannot do it all, but I can do some. Only one, I'm still one. I will do all that I can. Only one, I'm still one. I will do all that I can. I am only one, but still I am one. Cannot do it all, but I can do some. I am only one, but still I am one. I will do the work until it is done. Only one, I'm still one. I will do all that I can. Only one, I'm still one. I will do all that I can. Now we are together, now we are two. Look how much more we can do. Cooperation is the path to take. See the kind of difference it makes. Only two, we are two. Look at how much more we can do. Only two, we are two. All it takes is me and you. Now with another we are three, building a community. Add one other, now we are four. Each new one has something more, something more, something more. Each new one adds something more, something more, something more. Each one adds something more. I am only one, but still I am one. I will not refuse to do what I can. I am only one, but still I am one. Cannot do it all, but I can do some. I am only one, but still I am one. Gotcha at the end, huh?
As we prepare to extinguish the chalice, let us recite the valediction. The flame of this chalice will no longer burn today, but the light of the flame within our hearts continues to shine brightly, illuminating the love felt in our community. Please extinguish your chalice at home now. Now let us form a circle and join hands. Donn?
Oh, here, I can do that, I think. All right. Ooh, what a nice group. Okay. These closing words are by Forest Church. Life is not a given, but a wondrous gift. That gift comes with a price attached. One day something will steal it from us. That doesn't diminish our lives. It increases their value. Fragility and impermanence ensure life's preciousness. Amen.